Okay, hello class. Today I just want to cover a technique for organizing your photos. I'm doing some shooting for National Geographic Learning Cengage Publications, and we're shooting Rosebud Continuum with the new Fujifilm X-T4 mirrorless digital SLR, which is a great camera for both video and still photography. And I used video for another project for National Geographic that we're doing, where I wrote a script and then shot the video. But now I'm doing the still mode stuff. And whether you're doing video or stills, if you're going to share them, you've got to have the right naming conventions. And it takes a lot of time logging your footage. And I want to show you how I do it. So I shot the video. The camera has 2 slots. So let me open the camera here with one hand. So on this side of the camera, you have in this camera, you've got 2 SD slots, and there's one that I'm using right now, this one here. This I was using for the still photographs, okay, and I'm using, I'm using 64 gigabyte SanDisk cards, and this one is 300 megabits per second. That's the expensive one. This was about $95, and that is for the video. And then I have another card which I've plugged in here, which is half that rate. It's about 170 megabits per second, and using that for the still photographs. So while you're downloading from your still photograph card, you can be downloading from your video card on this. This is a great Dell G7 i7 or 17, whatever it is. Anyway, it's got a GeForce RTX, I think it's the 1070 card, and so it's a gaming computer. It's a very low-end gaming computer. It doesn't run Half-Life Alyx well at all, but it will do some virtual reality, and it will do some video editing, although not in 4K. So you got to bump the stuff down to 1080p if you want to edit it. Anyway, so it's got an SD card slot on one side, so I'm transferring some of my files that way onto Dropbox, and then you can also use the USB-C port that's on the other side of the camera. This computer has a regular USB and it has a USB-C. So I'm using the USB-C there. I transfer my files over to my hard drive, my D drive, and so it's in my Fujifilm X-T4 folder, and I've got it organized by videos, so you can see that they're so big, it take a while. So there's my videos of the biogas flame. These are all shot in 4K, so they're huge, and then you've got to transfer them if you want to do anything with them, and that takes time. So you see I've numbered them, and I numbered them badly. So this is an example of what not to do. When I first did it, I gave the name like Biodigester El Dragon, good, shot 60 frame per second, then DSC F0064.move, which is what the camera assigns. There's F0060, that's a sequential number series. This was shot earlier, F0058. There's F0063. And the problem is if you name them the way I did in this folder, you can't sort them by the time that by the name based on the time that you shot it. And it's harder for people to look at it and find the number. So I have a different naming convention now that I'm doing for the stills. And what I'm doing with the still photographs, so here's Rosebud. I'm keeping the name that is assigned by the camera first, and then I'm putting in my description.jpg. That's what I'm doing, and you can see I haven't done them all. It takes a while, but I've found a much quicker way to do it than the old way. The old way is you click on it, you look at it, you say, okay, well that's the picture, and then you come in and you try to click in here and put your cursor before the dot and hope you get it right, and then start naming it like that's the dock at Rosebud, right? And then you'd go to the next one after you'd hit escape, and you'd click on that and you'd open it, and then you get the lake. That's a pain in the butt. So what I prefer to do is go to view and go to extra large icons, Okay, and there they are. And then when you come to it, and here's the trick that I've just learned, that I was playing around and I got a trick here. So now they're generally going to be in order based on the number, because the number was all that there was. So let's come to here. This is where I have stopped. After DSC FO317, you see that DSC F0318 is the next, and then DSC F319. And here's what you do. You don't have to try to find that little dot. You just click on the name, okay, until it turns blue, and then go to your keyboard and hit the right arrow. And when you hit the right arrow, what you'll see happen is the cursor will jump right before the dot before JPEG, and then you can name it, like this is wishing well. It's hard to do with one hand. Oops. Digester back. Anyway, then you hit. Then you don't hit Enter. What you do is you then hit Tab. Now, if you hit Tab, what happens is it jumps to the next number from 318 to 319, and then once again, all you have to do is click on that right arrow, and it jumps to right before the dot, and then you can type in your description: dragon head, CU for close-up. Again, do not hit the Enter key. If you did hit the Enter key, fine, but you wouldn't be prepared for your next shot, so you'd waste some time. So yeah, it entered it, but now what? Well, you're not ready to do anything else with it, right? So to get to the sequence, go to the next one, click on the name. When it turns blue, as I mentioned, go back again, hit the right arrow, okay, and then type in your description. And sync right. Now don't hit Enter, because then you'll lose the sequence. Instead, hit Tab, and notice when you see this, notice that when I hit Tab, it jumps over to the next one in the sequence and highlights the number in blue. And again, you would then just hit the right arrow and then type in pig in this case, and then again hit the Tab key and then the right arrow, and then this is pig and goat, and then Tab to the next one, and then we have another one. Oops, I went too soon, so I lost it. Okay, there we go. Hit the right arrow and then type in pig, and then go away. Oh, I hate when that happens. Where? There we are. All right, pig. Now, if you've already named it and you do that, but you hit the Tab key, it does go to the next one. So now I hit the right arrow. I can put goats, and I can hit Tab and go to the next one, and I put goats. Now, you say, well, that has the same name, goats and goats. Well, there's not really that much different in the shot except the position of the goats, and because the number, the DSC number, is different, if we were referring to it, we'd know the actual photograph. And that's why if you erase that DSC number, then you don't have a unique identifier except the name, and then you have to make sure that the goats is a different goat's name. Here, any pictures with goats in them can have their own assigned numbers that the camera assigned, and when you're working with a producer like National Geographic or Cengage Learning, as I am, they're going to be looking at the name, the description that you gave, but also at the number, and so they might say, hey, can you pull up, like you might send them low-res versions of these videos instead of 4K files. You might send them for preview 1080p or 720, or you might send a low-res vision of the still, and then and you might put this up on Facebook, for example, and they might see it there and then say, well, do you have that picture of the goats, DSCF 32 or DSF 324? And then you've got that unique identifier and you've got the description. So it's a much better naming convention, and I wish I'd done that all along. I always thought it was such a difficult hassle to do the naming, but now I've discovered this technique, and so here's CU for close-up, goat, and then hit the, oh, I guess I lost it. So now if you've hidden the other keys by mistake, then you lose it. You've got to go again and click. Oops, didn't want to call up that video. It's a great, nice picture though. So I'd make it turn blue. Now use the arrow key, and then I can call this one goat face. And then hit tab again, and it moves to the next item in your list. So that's the workflow that I'm suggesting for rather rapid naming. And then you can send them off and put them in Dropbox. In my case here, the videos takes all day to load 4K videos. This is 65%, and I started this morning, and it's 8:16 p.m. I think I started at about 11 o'clock or 10:30 or something this morning. So it takes a long time, and so you don't want to waste time. So you eliminate the ones that are bad. You don't upload those, and then you send them after you've renamed them. So that's the procedure, and I hope that helps those of you in the class who are investing in becoming wildlife or environmental science photographers and videographers, because there is a lot of work out there, particularly in COVID-19 times when it's difficult for people to travel. Those content providers and production companies are looking for people with the good gear and the skills and the chops to organize and produce stuff. There's a lot of interest in the world for solutions. I highly recommend the Fujifilm X-T4. I'm not at all regretting that I got it. I did a lot of research before I got it. I love the fact that it has these isolated modes that you can do still mode and then get all those menus from still, and then go into movie mode and then set up your menus for movie mode. That you have hard buttons here that you don't have to use a digital menu to switch. A lot of cameras you have to switch digitally in a menu. I like the fact that you can use analog dials. I'm going to do video right now. I'm going to do stills. And you've got those traditional ISO settings and shutter speed settings, again, analog style. And I also love the fact, really appreciate that the touch screen is also swivels so that you can shoot yourself in the field and do vlogging, and also set up on a tripod and look and see what the camera's seeing, which a lot of cameras don't have. So terrific piece of gear. This costs $2,199 from B&H Photo in New York. They're a great group. I always get my gear from them. With an educator or student discount, it's $2,099 with the 16mm to 80mm zoom lens. And it's just a really good piece of gear for this kind of work. And I think it does some really good quality. There it is. It does some really good quality, good color rendering. The Fujifilm is famous for its color rendering. So I hope that helps you. Definitely start getting the habit of downloading every day when you shoot, and then naming. And that technique that I just showed you is, I think, the fastest way to name. So even if you skip some, like that picture I just took, if I want to go to that, oops, make it blue. Oops. So make it blue. Hit the arrow key to get to the end, and then go dragon. Oh, I better do a Control Z on that to bring it back. Oh, it looks like I lost it. Okay, so I was being sloppy with one hand and I've lost the name. But because I'm doing this in sequences, which you should do, I do know that is FO329, FO330. So I'm going to put that FO330 back. Cap lock F0330, and then put dragon. Okay. And then hit tab and it'll go to the next one, but I still need to get back to this one. Not a problem. So I've got some other ones to name, and you'll note that if I go and I name this one here, and I say goat shed, and then again hit tab to go to my next one, and then hit my right arrow key, and then say dragon, and then I can put well lit if I want to, because I like the lighting on that one. If I hit tab, it's going to skip to the next one, which is fine, and then I hit tab again, so I just skipped over that, and I get to the other one, and that's the close-up. So again, hit that arrow key, oops, and it opened it up. Well, that's a good point to stop with you. You get the point. It's tab, arrow key to get to the place just before the .jpeg. All right, happy shooting.